Hello, Mr. Gonda. Thank you for coming to the Voice of America, and congratulations with your heroic actions on board of the plane, Flight 253. When you, or before you boarded the plane in Amsterdam, did you go through thorough security, or did you observe anybody randomly checked in Amsterdam?
I did not observe anyone randomly being checked. We went through security, which to me wasn't enough security as I've seen in other airports before.
Did this passenger, Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalab, draw your attention during flight in any way?
No, he did not. I saw him in Amsterdam while we were in a waiting area before going through security. It was sitting, and I believe he used his cell phone texting, and he stood up and came back to a seat. But it wasn't anything specific about him that would have prompted any attention.
Did he refuse any food or drink aboard the plane during the flight?
No, I did not see. I did not even notice him because he wasn't he wasn't agitated or anything during the flight. I did not notice him back in the plane until the incident.
American media reports that at some point Abdul Muttalab left to go to the restroom aboard the plane, and that he spent like a long time, around 20-25 minutes there, and then he returned, right? So did you notice anything suspicious when that happened?
No, I do not recall him being out for the seat for a long time, and I heard that in the media as well. People saying that he was in a bathroom for about 20 minutes, and he had an incident with a flight attendant who asked him a question, and he mentioned to them that he had explosive. And would that have been the case, he would have been stopped right there at the bathroom. But none of this. There was no incident in that flight. The whole flight was peaceful. People were sleeping and watching TV like myself. I was watching a movie all the way to the incident. It was no incident, period. Would he have been gone for 20 minutes in the bathroom? I'm sure someone would have been worried. And most likely, he would have done the explosion in the bathroom. Would he have been there for that long?
So he didn't leave his seat, actually?
No, that I see. All the way, before the incident, he was sitting, and all the way after the explosion, I see him at the seat.
When you heard this cracking sound of explosion,
yes,
what did you do?
When I was the first one to stand up, after the noise, I stood up, and other passengers stood. We all looked toward him because we saw we all heard the noise coming from that direction, so we all stood looking straight to his direction, and then people start sitting. Maybe a couple minutes later.
Why did they start sitting? They didn't notice the smoke, or why?
The smoke wasn't there yet. So it was just a noise, an explosion noise, like a fire gun, or some people were saying like a firecracker, or we thought it could have been outside of the plane, and people sat because we did not see anything abnormal. It was just one noise, and then nothing, no other signs. So people like, okay, maybe it was just an incident, and people sat down.
Why didn't you sit down?
I was about to sit down myself when I saw the smoke coming out of the guys. So I was screaming, I said, there's fire.
And what happened then?
And other passengers, it was two ladies sitting right in front of him, and another guy sitting next to him. They all ran away from there.
They ran away?
They ran away, and other passengers started panicking. And it was the Dutch guy. It was a flame actually that came, and there was a Dutch guy that was sitting 3 rows beyond me who jumped, and another Dutch guy also that was sitting right beyond me with his wife. Both of them went and they grabbed they started putting the fire. They were asking for blankets and for bottles of water. And I passed on the blanket that was on my lap. And it was another lady right next to me who went very hysteric, started screaming and was trying to run away from her seat. And the flight attendant came. They saw what was happening, and they both went in opposite direction to go in the back to get the fire extinguishers. And they came back, and the flight attendant asked us to calm people down, and she's like, everybody calm people down and sit down. And it started spraying on the guy while other passenger was grabbing him. And they took him off of his seat. He had his pants halfway down. and I believe it was while he was mixing his materials to do the explosion, they grabbed him off of his seat, escorting him us to the front, and then he was handcuffed and seated in the first row in the business class. up
How
to
much
the
time
landing.
did it take, the whole thing?
Less than 10 minutes. From
Did
the
you realize that a terrorist attack was prevented?
Yes, I did, and I also screamed it. I said it loud when after the explosion, we thought it was just a noise, but when the smoke and the flame came out, I said loud, "This is a terrorist." And it just the idea of the United 93 flight that took place in 2001 came to my mind actually. Unfortunately, those people were not as lucky as we were to make it, but where it was reported that they fought the terrorists back then, and that idea came to my mind as well.
How do you feel about flying again?
I'm going to fly still, but it's just I will be even more vigilant than I usually are, and I'm glad I usually don't sleep in a plane, so that's give me a good reason not to sleep during the flight.
Mr. Gonda, you saved yours and almost 300 other lives. Thank you so much for your heroism.
Thank you.